future for a number line. 4 years in, 4 more to sweat. The interest clock was already set. Diploma on the wall, balance on the screen. The debt outlives every dream I've seen. Degree in hand, the system cashed a check. Another runner chained around the neck. They priced the knowledge, they sold the door. You paid the toll, then paid it more. You bought the key, but not the room. You paid for light inside the tomb. 10 years gone, the meter's still alive. The bill says balance, the system says survive. A second mortgage on the first mistake. Not a mistake, that's what they need you to say. It was the system moving debt your way. Every payment clears, the interest first, the principal stays. That's the engineered curse. They built the ladder, then they sold the rungs. They own the air inside your working lungs. The degree was real, the trap was real. Two true things at once. That's how the play fails. You bought the key, but not the room. You pay for light inside the tomb. 10 years gone, the meter's still alive. The bill says balance, the system says survive. Clock still runs. While the interest grows. Month 13, same hole, same wall. The balance barely moved at all. They gave you numbers, called it fair. Dressed the cage and called it care. You run the treadmill, they collect the pace. You'll never leave this running race. The principle never moves. The principle never moves. You pay and pay and it never moves. The principle never moves. 1,000 months at minimum rate. The architect had time to wait. They didn't miscalculate the cost. They knew exactly what you lost. The math was written before you signed. A trap designed before your mind. Every dollar sorted to the fee. The core stays frozen, that's the key. The principle never moves. The principle never moves. You burn the years and it never moves. The principle never moves. Not a glitch, not an error, not a flaw. This is the feature, built to run, built to keep not inherited land. Inherited balance, handed over no hand. Born negative, born negative. The number came before the name. Born negative, born negative. You didn't tell me sign the same. A generation holding someone else's tab. The ancestors sign, the children grab. The most sinister transfer in the canon. You owe for wars you never ran in. The public debt converts to cuts. The cuts convert to broken guts. From hospital to school to road, every number, your generation's low. The number came before the name. Born negative, born negative. You didn't sign, they signed the same. The balance was already there. Free bitches run your life right now. The system grades your worth somehow. Below the threshold door, stay shut. No apartment, no account, no cut. Miss one payment, what's the number for? Miss it twice and you lose the whore. They built the gate and sold the key, then charged you extra not to be free. Locked out, locked out, no. Your number said no. Locked out, the system spoke and you didn't know. Locked out, they own the door. They own the score. Locked out. You need good credit to build good credit. That's the loop, you already said it. The system punishes the new arrival. Treats the broke like an error in the spiral. No rental without a rental history. No rental history without a key. They built a self-referential wall and called it personal responsibility. Not a gate, not a test. It's a permanent address for everyone the system won't bless. Locked out, locked out. Oh, your number said no. Locked out, the system spoke and you didn't know. Locked out, they own the door. They own the score. Locked out. And the interest from the total, 700,000. That's the protocol. You own the house a year, 31. After paying for it 3 times, son. The bank collects while the equity drips. Slow enough that nobody flips. They call it home ownership, they're not wrong. They also own most of it, that's the song. You hold the key, but they hold the note. You hold the title, they hold the throat. The monthly payment felt like freedom until you ran the numbers in the system. The house was for 100, you'll pay 8. Welcome to the normalized estate. You bought the roof, they bought the math. The price was listed, the second price. That you own your home, they own your home. Both true, both visible, both by design. You pay the price, they charge you double. You signed the deed, inside the trouble. You called it yours, the math called it theirs. You held the walls, they held the stairs. The second price never stops. They call it sovereign debt. It sounds abstract. It sounds distant. Watch what happens to the schools. Then ask again who owes. Bureaucrat stage sounds like nothing, sounds like math until the budget comes down the path. Hospital closed, the numbers wide. School cuts funded the interest line. The abstract debt is a concrete hand reaching into every pocket in the land. The trillion was never just a trillion. It was your mother's waiting list. It was the clinic they dismissed. You feel it now. You feel it now. You feel the abstract in your teeth now. You feel it now. You feel it loud. The sovereign debt just hit the ground now. The spreadsheet lived in another city. The consequence lived in yours. That's not complexity. That's transfer by design. Interest service before the road repair. Bondholders paid before the public care. The math of governance runs one direction, upward. That's the only collection. You voted, sure. You paid, always. You owed before you counted days. They made the debt abstract so you'd accept the most concrete theft you've ever left. You feel it now. You feel it now. You feel the abstract in your teeth now. You feel it now. You feel it loud. The sovereign debt just hit the ground now. With indignation, why should they get free? As if the debt were nature, not a key. A key to lock the labor in the loop. The outrage wasn't ethics, it was the group that owns the debt, that fears the jubilee. The system fights forgiveness, that's the theory. When they oppose the pardon, ask who holds the note. Ask who profits from the principle. Ask who wrote. Why fight the forgiveness? Why guard the chains? Who benefits when the balance remains? Why fight the freedom? Why keep the ledger alive? The answer is the system, and the system wants to drive. Was rented from the creditor who invented the very system that produced the debt and now fights the exit. You can bet debt is power, that's the simple line. Cancel the debt and cancel the design. The resistance to relief was never ethical, it was financial, it was political. Power doesn't volunteer to leave. Power calls forgiveness naive. Power builds the moral case for keeping power in its place. Why fight the forgiveness? Why guard the chains? Who benefits when the balance remains? Why fight the freedom? Why keep the ledger alive? The answer is the system, and the system wants to drive. They'll fight forgiveness as long as debt pays. Use of every Tuesday morning you will work. 3 months from now it's already their turf. The installment plan is a time machine. It runs your future labor through the screen. Swipe the card, the dopamine fires. The payment due converts to working hours. You didn't buy the television set, you pre-sold December to retire the debt. The buy now infrastructure was designed to monetize the future before the mind could calculate the compound cost of every click and every hour lost. spending time, not your balance, your future in line. You paid for it, they owned it first. You bought the thing, they bought the thirst. You held the product in your hand, they held the hours you hadn't planned. Installment loops. Every payment is a handshake renewed. Every month, the future subnode. You paid for it, they owned it first. You bought the thing, they bought the thirst. You held the product in your hand, they held the hours you hadn't planned. Oh, the future was pre-sold at checkout. System saw it and sent the invoice anyway. Ambulance fee before the vitals clear. Facility charge for the overhead near. Not a tragedy, it's a revenue event. Every seizure, every broken, every descent into emergency billed to the second by the system that your illness reckoned. You didn't choose a hospital, you didn't choose a day, you chose to stay alive, and the system chose your rate. The bill arrived, the bill arrived. You healed your body, and the bill arrived. The bill arrived. You're alive and in debt for it. The bill arrived. Itemize the gloves they threw away. Itemize the IV for the day. Itemize the room they wheeled you through. Itemize the breath they gave back to you. 40,000 for a 3-day stay in a country where that's the standard way. You didn't bet on getting sick that week, but the system had already priced us straight. The sickness was the first wound, the statement was the second. Both arrived without consent, both by systematic reckoning.